but your favorite hunting story up to this point in your life?
I gotta say, it's going to go back to the kids, my two boys. This past spring, we just had I didn't shoot anything, but they did. we had a really good spring. My 7-year-old got his first turkey, and then my 10-year-old got his 6th tom he's shot since he started going when he was 6. So they've just been on a tear, and getting the youngest one on the board this year was just awesome. We started on a Wednesday and got him out in a blind that I had preset, and he helped me with that. And we put the decoys out, and we weren't there probably an hour. And I had a tom come in from about 100 yards out and just do what they're supposed to do. He sat out there at 60 yards and strutted back and forth, and then came right into the decoys, and he let him have it, and he was done.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Hope you're having a good one. Today, we have an amazing episode with Isaac Goetzinger from Grizzly Coolers. If you didn't know, Grizzly is a partner of the show. So if you like anything that we discussed today, and you're looking to get a Grizzly cooler, a Grizzly blind, a Grizzly drink container, whatever it may be from Grizzly, or even just some Grizzly gear, a Grizzly blanket, hoodie, etc., I'm going to get you a code right now. It's all down below. I'll leave the link and the code down below to where you can save some money on my favorite coolers that I trust my red gold, the game meat with. And a lot of whitetail hunters trust their blinds more than anything. They make some fantastic items, guys. Go check out Grizzly, the link down below. Save some money. And hope you enjoy this episode with Isaac. He really is a great individual. He loves Grizzly and the company and where they're going, what they do. They support hunters. They support outdoorsmen and women. And that's why I wanted to partner up with them and share that with you guys. So enjoy this conversation with Isaac. If you do like this episode, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like and a comment. Any questions that you have for Isaac, maybe things you want to see from Grizzly in the future, things that you've liked, things that maybe you haven't liked, drop a comment down below, or even if you just want to leave a thumbs up for me, I appreciate that as well. All the support is welcome. And if you're not in the market for any gear items that I've discussed in the past, that's great. I appreciate that, and I definitely understand that. Hopefully you're getting after it out in the woods or in the mountains this fall, and hopefully you're able to fill a tag. Please leave a review on Apple or Spotify if you're listening to the podcast there, and if you're watching it on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and like this video. Now let's get into this conversation here with Isaac Goetzinger and Grizzly Coolers. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the RedBeard Outdoors Podcast. I'm Jonathan, your host, and today we've got an outstanding guest for you guys. We have Isaac Goetzinger from Grizzly Coolers. He does an amazing job over there with the sales department, getting the marketing out there for Grizzly, and just all the things that you guys have seen lately with Grizzly just gaining steam. Even though they've been around, I actually just found out they've been around for over a couple decades at this point. But they make everything from hard-sided coolers, soft-sided coolers, which we'll get into some of my experiences that I've had with those, why I really love the coolers and have actually put them through the TSA test, which everyone knows that's a big deal. And, everything from that to dry bags to drinkware. I mean, there's so many different things that Grizzly does, and blinds as well. So if you guys are more on the East Coast and Midwest and you need a blind, set up a hard-sided blind, they've even come out with a cooling system, which I thought was pretty cool as well when I saw that. So all of these things are wrapped up under the Grizzly umbrella, and we're going to get into all of that. But first, we want to get to know Isaac here. And so, Isaac, for people that don't know who you are you?
Hey, first off, appreciate for you having me on. Excited to be a part of this and the new partnership with you guys too. But yeah, Isaac Goetzinger. I'm the official title, I guess, is sales director for Grizzly. End up putting on a lot of different hats, over the course of that tenure there. Do a little bit of marketing and mostly on the sales side. But yeah, started back in 2012, basically as a dedicated sales rep for the Grizzly brand. It was really the first position of that kind for the company here at that time. So just a little bit of backstory quick on Grizzly itself, to kind of tie this all together. The parent company is a family-owned business here in Northeast Iowa. Started in the early 80s, rotomolding coolers, and really it was more for the beverage industry. Iowa Rotocast Plastics is the name of the parent company. And so the gentleman started basically in a garage and rotomolded a round barrel cooler that you could put a keg in, and it had casters and stuff like that on it and a lid, and rental stores all over the U.S. really took to it. And then he started building some bigger things and started getting in with Anheuser-Busch at the time, and then ended up getting, when the 92 Olympics were in the U.S., got that bid. So like it just started growing in the beverage world and really taking off on that front. The outdoor space, the family that owns it are big into outdoors and hunting. So that's kind of where Grizzly stemmed from. In the late 90s, the three sons took one of their larger coolers out west on a Colorado elk hunt. And it was just one of their keg transporter coolers where stadiums were buying it to put kegs in and transfer between the different levels of the stadium. Well, they took that out west, and the hunting guys just went nuts. They're like, well, you could put multiple elk in this thing and take your meat home. This is going to be huge for clients. Like, you guys need to make some changes here or there, and you're going to have something. So they came back and retooled it, and that's what ended up being the Grizzly 400 that we had. That was our first cooler, and they called it the Grizzly, and that's where the brand came from. So that brand was really built in the elk woods, was the early roots of it. And then, like say, when I started, we had the 400, a 60 quart, and a 150. So three sizes, and over the years we've retooled everything, added a bunch of sizes, different colors, landed on the stainless steel drinkware that everybody's familiar with, started dabbling in soft sides and just rounding out the line. So that was a work in progress as we went through that, and then until now where we're selling blinds, the water trough and everything else that you talked about there in the intro. So it's been a wild ride over the course of the 12 years here, and just a lot of new products. We got a lot of exciting stuff, but back from our roots, we've always been ingrained in that hunting market. So we feel like that's our strong point, and that's our tagline now is always on the hunt. So we want to be providing products for that customer that is always on the hunt. In the off season, you're getting your food plots ready and checking trail cameras and all the work that goes into that hunt. You're always on it. We want to make sure that our customers have the best possible outdoor experience that they can. So
no, for sure.
That's where we're at. Yep.
Yeah. And that's awesome that, you've been able to see it for 12 years. And, I mentioned before we got on the podcast, just, there's so many people that bounce from job to job every 2 to 5 years. So obviously you appreciate, the mission of Grizzly, the people there, and obviously where Grizzly is going. And that's why you've stayed for so long in the position there, because it's easy for people to bounce jobs if they don't like the culture or the pay or whatever it is that people leave for. Usually it has to do with culture and changes. And you've seen multiple changes, but they all seem to be constantly progressing and definitely keeping Isaac there. So that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's been fun. We're constantly developing new products that, outside of the cooler line. In 2019, when we launched that blind, coming into it, I never thought we were going to have a rotomolded one-piece blind. But that just, our location here in Iowa, it's big blind country, chasing whitetails around. So it was kind of born out of the necessity here between the ownership group and everybody that we felt we could build a better blind. And whether it was just going to be for us or for resale is kind of where it started. And then when we got down that road, we decided that we would be able to sell this product. So it's been fun for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's pretty sweet. So yeah, I'm not much of a blind hunter. I'm doing, I did tree stand last year for whitetail, probably very similar this year, but I've seen them, I've been in them, and they're very well constructed. The windows are awesome. All the things that you would think, and that I've seen from other people that I know hunt in blinds. You guys have kind of hit all the things that you guys would need as far as a solid, hard-sided blind goes. So with that, you guys just came out with I don't remember what it's called, but the cooler basically that it's almost like an air conditioner that that blows into the blind, which is pretty awesome because I know like right now we're starting archery season here in a couple days, And it is, I mean, we're averaging about 100 degrees right now here in Utah. And I know that there's some states out east in the Midwest that are also struggling with some heat right now. And so sitting in that blind, I mean, I've heard of people that are like, we just strip down to our underwear and sit in the blind in our underwear, and we're still suffering. And so what, like, I guess, what is this? Talk us through what I'm going to call it a little air conditioning unit, even though it's not an air conditioning unit.
Yeah, it's really not. So basically what it is it's an air exchange system. So, instead of an air conditioner blowing in, this is sucking the hot air and pushing it out. So it's in reverse. So it's called the Power Vent, and it's available now. We launched it at ATA this last year. And the beauty of it is it doubles as a shelf too, but it runs off of a USB connection. So any portable battery pack that you're already using for your cell phone, most people take that hunting anyway. You can plug that portable battery pack into this thing, and it's got an internal fan, and it will basically just take the air that's inside the blind and circulate it out through one of the existing vent holes that's in the blind already. So from an exchange system, you're getting rid of that really hot, muggy air that's been locked in that blind all summer. When you get there in September, whenever your season starts, it helps on condensation because the air is constantly moving within the blind then. And then two, it helps with fogging of windows as well. So when we get into the winter months, especially in the Midwest, it gets pretty cold. People start running heaters in there. It just helps to keep that air moving within the blind. Whether you hunt with your windows open or closed, it'll still do a good job for you that way. It's whisper quiet from a fan standpoint. And the other thing that I like is on the scent side of the spectrum too. So you're getting all the benefits of circulating that air. But the nice thing about that Power Vent then is whatever scent, cover scent or scent elimination practices that you would be doing in a tree stand already, that same stuff can be used with the Power Vent. So if you're a big scent elimination guy, you can take wicks and spray that scent elimination into the Power Vent, and that will then circulate the air out. So your scent then leaving the blind is treated. Or if you're into cover scents, you could do the same thing and put a deer cover scent or whatever you're using in that, and then your air going out is going to be treated with whatever the cover scent that is. If you're big into ozone, you could also put your ozone unit in the Power Vent. So then it's then treating all the air that's leaving the blind. And then with that, all the air is leaving in one spot too, that you're designating. So you're controlling where that air is escaping and being treated, and it's all condensed. So it really helps from a scent elimination standpoint as well.
Cool. No, that makes sense. Yeah, because I know a lot of people, they use hard-sided blinds for that reason as well, to contain the scent. And you answered my question before I asked it. You must be reading my mind here, because I was going to ask how you pull the air out and suck it to the outside. People are going to be concerned by that. So it's a great way to either do the cover scent or the scent elimination, having those wicks in there. Now, are those wicks, are they sold on the site as well, or is it something that you recommend a different product that goes with it?
Any wicks that you're already using can be placed in there. The thing will come with a carbon mat that is available that sets in the tray. And then if you're using ozone, you can just take the tray out and put the ozone unit in there and just run that as you normally would.
Okay.
And helps treat that air if you're into ozone.
Awesome. Now, I know it officially launched at ATA. Obviously, you've been testing this product for a while. From people that have used it in the whitetail woods, what's their experience been?
We got a full fall out of it last year before we launched it, and then some the previous fall as well with a couple prototypes. But the main thing that we notice is if the wind is marginal, and especially late season, if you're hunting over a large food source like a bean field or something like that, and the field fills up, whether you hunt with your windows open or shut, most people will have them shut to a point, and then at some point when you're going to shoot, you have to open up that window, right? So there's always a case where you don't get the exact shot when you need it to, or anticipate something moving or whatever. So you're always sitting there at full draw with the window open for longer than you anticipate. So this just helps cover you a little bit more. I've had more people message and just say, hey, like, this saved me, sitting there for 5 minutes while I was waiting for a buck to turn or some does to work through or something. It just keeps it that much more to help you get an opportunity, versus not when you have to have that window open.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that makes sense. Again, pulling the air from the inside instead of letting the air fall out the window,
Right.
just kind of naturally. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot to the whitetail stuff that I'm still learning. But again, just from construction standpoint and the idea behind it, theory behind it, it seems like it would be an amazing opportunity for people out there in the market for a blind. So with the blinds now, we've got, talking about the hard-sided stuff. Let's talk about the coolers. So I absolutely love the coolers, and it even doubles for those out there that are into fitness, and maybe you're like, well, I'm trying to build out my gym. I need a box or a couple boxes for step ups or box jumps or whatever. Go buy a cooler. And then you can have the cooler, use it in the off season or whenever you're working out as your step up box. I know the 75 works really well for that. And then we just got the 165 in while I was in Alaska. And so we're going to put that. But I know the measurement wise, that hits the larger box for box jumps. Those things, they work awesome. They take a beating. They're very sturdy and they're lightweight. I know there's some other competitors out there that are just stinking heavy, empty. And so with the Grizzly coolers, things that I've noticed are my kids can help me carry them out to the car, or they don't need me. They can carry it if it's empty. And so that's something that's pretty cool too. So I guess let's hit on what's the main technology behind why it's so lightweight, but also you get that double wall insulation.
Well, it's just a kind of a combination. We source some pretty good foam that is lighter weight per inch than some of the others. And then we just, over the years, we've kind of figured out where it all needs to be to make the cooler work efficiently. So there's some spots within the cooler that you might not need a full 2 inches of foam everywhere. And so if you put it in the right spots where it's going to work for you, you can cut down on some of that weight. And then the other part of it too is, you'll notice a lot of corners on our coolers. So versus just a rounded edge, corners in rotomolding just make everything stronger. So the more you can put on there, the better. And that's why we put beveled edges on our lids. The corners are all that way. It just makes for a very durable product too.
Yeah, no, for sure. So again, lightweight, durable, and you can use the top as a cutting board. There's so many different things that you can use that cooler for that we've used it for. Like I said, if you're going to use it for box jumps, I might personally recommend putting maybe some weight inside of it before you go and jump on it. But for the step ups, it works really well with or without weight on your back. So again, it's got a dual purpose for when you're not necessarily using the cooler to haul meat or drinks when you're going out camping or food or whatever. It's not just sitting in your garage gathering dust. You can use it for your training purposes as well. And you can even use it if you have a slab of, what's it called? The fake grass turf. You can use you guys have the non-slip bottoms, the little clip-on bottoms that are slippery and non-slip. And so if you want to even use it as like a sled, you can do that. So it's crazy some of the ideas that you can use this for, but if you're in the market for multiple of these things for your workout, your home gym, and for a cooler, it can serve all of those purposes. Maybe not in the traditional way that you were thinking, but it'll definitely hold up to it. I've had some coolers in the past where I put even just my meat from my elk. Just last year, before we were partnered up, I had a different cooler, and I went to go lift it, and it separated the plastic to where the foam was exposed because it couldn't handle that weight. And Grizzly coolers definitely aren't. They're not weak like that. So
never had that happen.
Yeah, exactly. And so with that, I've got we mentioned the 400. Now you guys have moved on to the 450, which for anyone interested in how kind of a real world example, or not just photos of it, but You can go and watch the first Phorm Outdoors games video from this last year. Grizzly was part of that. They were sponsors for that, and we got a big old orange 450 that we were using as an ice bath for the competitors whenever they'd come back and they were looking to recover at the end of the day. And it can legitimately fit 2 human beings in there. And it's huge. It's a really big cooler. And again, it's stupid light for how big it is. But I didn't realize that was one of your originals. The 400 was the original Grizzly cooler. So anyone needing an ice bath, it's definitely an amazing option. It has even what's the locking mechanism that will hold the lid up and open for you?
Yeah, we just call it the lid prop, but basically it's a kickstand similar to like what would be on a truck hood, essentially. It's kind of similar design, but it's got 2 different steps where it locks the lid open. So, a lot of these are being used outside, so you don't want the wind to blow the lid shut when it's propped open. So that was just a safety mechanism that we installed. And then even too, if you're loading meat into it, you just want that lid out of the way. So
yeah, it holds the lid open for you.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool option. I know there's some other companies out there that have made like a water transfer or some kind of cooler system to attach to it if you want to use it mainly as your ice bath rather than hauling meat or food or whatever. But yeah, that's a pretty sweet cooler. So you've got everything from the ginormous cooler all the way down to, I think the smallest hard side is what, a 20?
Oh, we have a 15 below that one too.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've got the 20, and this fall I'll be using it to brine my turkey, which people are always looking for buckets and stuff like that to do. I'm just going to stick a trash bag in there so I don't have to clean out the mess afterwards, and then use that as my turkey briner. But that little 20 does awesome. It's got the hard handle, which is pretty cool. That just swings out of the way. Again, just very durable. So many different color options. I haven't had any issues with any of the Grizzly coolers that I've used up to this point. So, what would you say would be the most popular size that people are looking at?
Oh, right now, our top 2, I'll tell you, is that 20, and then our new 45.
Okay.
So those 2 are the go-to sizes, and then it really 20, 40, and 60 is kind of the sweet spot for everyday use. Mm-hmm. And then once you get 75 and larger, then you get into the more specific markets like your hunting and meat transfer, and then the fishing end too. That 75 is a really a go-to for the offshore fishermen. For most center console boats, that 75 fits between the leaning posts really well. So that was where that one was designed. But from the general public, your 20, 45, and 60 is going to be the 3 best sizes. More personal, like you on the 20, all the drains too, I should mention, between there are all the same 2-inch drain system. We have a hose adapter plug as well as an option that you can hook a garden hose to. But all of those sizes have that same 2-inch drain. So, and when you get to the 75 and larger, then there's 2 of those. So on either end, there's a drain, which is handy in a fishing type market, or, if you have it in the back of your truck and you want to get all the stuff drained out of it, it doesn't really matter which way it's facing, you'll have a drain to the outside. So, that was the purpose behind that. But even that small 20 has that same 2-inch drain. And yeah, the 15 is the only one that does not. But that one's built more for, throwing in the back of the truck, like between the seats and stuff. It's a little bit more narrow, and just a smaller, more of a day use type application. So
yeah, no, I definitely get that. And it's once you get to that smaller than 20, personally, I prefer the soft-sided cooler, and we'll get into those because you guys have some awesome options there. But with the hard-sided, I'll be, whenever I travel or go on bigger hunts, I take a 165 because it just carries everything. And now I've got a short bed Tacoma, and so I have a trailer hitch that I throw that on, and it works out great. It doesn't take up any room in the truck bed, and it'll fit right on that trailer hitch. And then again, it's just easy to lock down. You guys have, if people are worried about people getting into your stuff, you have ways to lock it. don't know what those holes would be called, but holes for bolts if you want to
Yep.
put a lock in there. And then also the I guess the what are they called? The straps that just come down and attach are pretty well tensioned to keep the lid closed. So there's no locking or fumbling around. It's just you grab it with 2 fingers, pop them out, and then they fold out of the way. So all of those things, just everything about the cooler is just very well thought out, very well designed. And again, there's so many different options and colors. My wife hates the fact that I got the orange one for the 75, but I was like, hey, that's mainly going to be for camping and hunting. So, you're never going to have to see that orange one. But you've got gray, you've got white, you've got OD green. You have a whole bunch of different options out there for people that are interested in it. And then I guess going into the soft-sided coolers. So your biggest soft-sided coolers are 30, and you've got the option to have a roll, some wheels on it with kind of a stand there with almost a roller bag is basically what it turns into.
It's like a luggage style telescoping handle on the rollers.
Yeah.
Yep. That's our biggest one. We've got it in tan and black. That one's pretty awesome for if you're into baseball tournaments or anything with sports with the kids all summer long. Rolling that thing around to different games is great. It's got all of our drifters have our drinkware pockets on the sides. They zip shut and fold out of the way, but they work great for carrying our drinkware in. And that 30 actually has 4, so there's 2 on either side. So that's great for an afternoon at the ballpark.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So the with the Grizzly 30, so I went up to Alaska recently, and like I said, kind of in the intro, I put these to the TSA test, which anyone knows. I've had broken wheels on luggage before. You get some dings. I've had my hard-sided stuff crack. Now it's not the nicest hard-sided luggage, but some luggage I've had cracks come in it because they just throw it around and they're trying to get their job done as quickly as possible. I don't envy the TSA guys' job because they're just throwing luggage all day, right? But at the same time, it can get frustrated when things break. And so on the way back from Alaska, I brought the backpack cooler, which is 28 quarts, and the 30 drifter with the wheel attachment. And I was planning on bringing back most of, if not all of my fish, whatever would fit in there, depending on how well the trip went. And I ended up being able to fit close to 75, 80 pounds of fish in those 2 coolers on the way back. Now the drifter was great. It's got the normal zipper. It's kind of a beefy zipper. And then, the wheels weren't broken whenever we showed up in Salt Lake City. The wheels weren't broken. There was no dings. Nice. There was no busted zippers, anything like that. No broken handles. Everything turned out really good. And then I was kind of concerned because there's a new zipper that you guys have put on the backpack cooler. So the zipper is legitimately waterproof. It's not water resistant or anything like that. It's a waterproof zipper that makes it basically a dry bag at the same time and also locks in the liquid to the inside. And I was a little concerned because the way it feeds into itself, that maybe it could get busted by being thrown around, being so jam-packed with fish and having that pressure from the inside and then being thrown and all this other stuff. And when it came out of the luggage thing, I was waiting for my fish to spill out, right? Like, and to have to go gather up all the fillets. And it came out, and I was like, wow, like it wasn't beat up. The zipper was great. It worked awesome. And it had gone through 2 planes by the time we got home. So it was deplaned and replaned multiple times in that interaction, plus squished by all the other bags that I'm sure were thrown on top of it. So that's a great design. I've put it through the TSA test. I don't know if anyone else has, but that's the test of zippers and luggage. You might be the
first one.
Yeah, exactly. So it worked, and it kept my fish nice and cold, which I know most of the time they come back good anyway in the boxes, but it kept it even more contained and cool from being frozen up in Alaska to coming back home. So walk us through, the idea behind that backpack cooler and the waterproof zipper that you guys did on that backpack cooler.
Yeah, that's going to be the Backpack 24 on the website if anybody's checking them out. the overall design, it's a TPU construction, so it's a little bit different material than the other drifter line. And the main thing is that zipper, like you say. We partnered with the company Night Eyes on this. They have that zipper patent, and it's called a True Zip zipper. And it just hasn't been used in a cooler as of yet. So when we went to them for this zipper need, we wanted something that would track around corners a lot easier than what the other waterproof zippers on the market were doing. And we landed on this product, and when we tested it, it worked really well. It really handles dirt and dust and any grime that gets in there. It still tracks perfectly. And even on a tight corner, it just goes right around the corner without any catches or anything like that. It's not hard to get in and out of. So it's pretty bulletproof in that regard. And then on top of that, it's waterproof. So it's been a great product to bring to market. We've been working on a backpack for quite a while. We always wanted to do one, and we want to do it right. So we're pretty pleased with this one, and some of that technology is probably going to migrate through the rest of the drifter line as we go here and do some updates, as well as this one perform. So we're hearing a ton of positive feedback on it. We've only had it out for a few weeks here, but everybody that uses it just loves it. So it's available in our gray, white, and our tan color as well. So that's been a great addition.
Yeah, and it works really good. We used it as our dry bag while we were out fishing as well. We would just stuff stuff in there because we had a little cooler with drinks that the lodge provided, but used that as our dry bag up there, and it worked really well. It's well padded. It's not heavy at all, and it's obviously durable. And it looks really good with fish blood all over it, by the way. I got some pictures of that.
Just
yeah, exactly. And anyone that's been out, open ocean fishing, we went salmon fishing and halibut and all the other fish that you can catch out there. And so, you bring them in the boat, you have to whack them on the head. And so I just turned around at one point. I was like, man, the back of our boat looks like a murder scene. Like, I've never been open water fishing before. And I'm like, good night. And then I look over at the cooler and I was like, man, they should do a pattern like that gray with like blood splatter like that.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's really sweet. And that one also has two on the side. It's got the drinkware that you can zip up and flatten them out, but also open up if you want to carry drinks in that as well.
Yeah, it's got the two drinkware pockets there, shoulder straps, obviously, single carry handle, and then an optional waist band strap as well. If you like wearing backpacks with the waist strap, you can add that on. And then just like a sleeve style pocket on the front, on the top. It works really good for keys or cell phone or anything like that. And then a larger zippered pocket below that. So it's loaded with pockets as well for carrying other things too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
awesome.
What have you found that has been mostly used for other than me flying with it? What's been the biggest customer base, I guess, for the backpack cooler?
Since we launched it this summer, it's only been out for a couple weeks, 3 weeks now. So really, it's been a lot of the summertime type activities. Going to the beach, a lot of boating, just stuff with family has been the main driver there. So I think as we get into fall, we'll start getting a lot more feedback as far as a hunting standpoint. I used one of our samples that we in development, our prototypes, turkey hunting this year throughout the spring, and I got a 10 and 7-year-old, so I can't pack enough snacks usually to get them through a hunt, and that thing helped in that regard for sure. I was always packing that to the blind, so there's a few instances where I use that as my turkey pack and cooler. I just threw all my calls in a few of the pockets that I knew I was going to want, and it saved me carrying a vest and that cooler. So worked well for that.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and you're right. It's got multiple uses. Like I said, it doesn't pack down like a dry bag. Maybe if you're traveling with it, but if you have an extra spot to use it as a backpack, you can use it as a dry bag. The cooler, none of the drifters or soft sided coolers, I haven't noticed any of them leaking or getting the condensation on the outside or anything like that. Like they hold ice really well. They do a really good job of all of that and also keeping things cool. So there's multiple, I think I've got the 13 that I use for just kind of day trips with the kids, keeping sandwich stuff in there. And then, that backpack cooler and the 30, they all work really well as carry-on luggage or, the 30 as a checked luggage if you're looking to bring back any deer meat, maybe when you're traveling or anything like that. It flies well. It passed the TSA test. So, yeah, that's awesome. I guess there's, you've got a whole line of other products with the drinkware. So people that are interested in stainless steel drinkware with, one of my biggest ones that I've used and abused is the 30 ounce, the 30 ounce double walled insulated drink. I don't know the name of it. I don't know
Probably
the
the
names of all
bottle.
these
It's
things.
got the
Yeah, the
twist off
bottle.
cap.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the bottle is my favorite one, that 30 ounce bottle. It holds ice surprisingly well. It keeps it nice and cold in there. And then it's not rubber, but a coating on it that gives you just enough grip where you want it, but not so grippy that it sticks to everything or dirt sticks to it.
Yeah.
So I guess talk about that bottle. What's the purpose behind that?
We redid all of our bottles this last year that we launched for 24. We have a 20 ounce, the 30 ounce you talked about, the 40, and then we jump into a 64 ounce jug and then a giant 128.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those products, as well as our new 20 ounce cup, all have that rubber touch finish on it. And you're right. I mean, it just gives you enough grip that they're easy to hang on to, easy to, if you have them stuffed in a backpack or something like that, you can grab them out real easy, even with gloves on. Or, if you're people that are fishing, you always have stuff on your hands. It just makes it a lot easier to use. And then the twist off cap on the bottles is really nice for drinking out of, and it holds ice really, really well. So those bottles have come in handy here this year. People have really liked all the sizes. I use that 30 every day. It's kind of my go-to for daily use. I just did a bunch of food plots over the weekend, and I was using that 128 for that. And if you're outside working all day long, that's an awesome one for that too.
So. Oh yeah. Yeah, with the 30, just for size comparison for people, it's similar to a Nalgene. The standard size is Nalgene as far as the base goes, but it is a little thinner, just a little bit, up and down wise. And the top, so on all of my Nalgenes, I already put that style lid where it's a little bit more narrow, so you're not, me with a mustache and beard, anytime I drink out of a Nalgene, it just ends up dripping down here because it just gets caught in the mustache and just runs down my face. And so I always add the little attachment that narrows down the lid just a little bit for drinking purposes. And so you guys have that with the little carry handle that comes on it as well. And that carry handle, again, comes in handy when you're carrying multiple things. You can hook your pinky into it or whatever, trying to unload your truck with multiple kids, whatever you get out of the truck. Yeah. You just want to carry everything in one trip like we do. So, yeah, because you don't want to, for some reason, it's too difficult to go back out to the truck a second time. So you got to carry everything the first time. But, it fits really well in. So I run an initial Ascent pack. It fits perfectly in their cup holder, or I guess bottle holder that attaches to your waistband. I personally prefer bottles whenever I'm out hunting, just because if I've got a bladder that I'm drinking out of, I can't really check how much water I've got left. And I just drink and drink and drink until it's gone. And I've had multiple times where the bladder will be empty, and I'm like, where did it all go? But I'm peeing all the time too, so I know where it went. But with a bottle, I can kind of keep track of that, and maybe keep some water storage in my backpack to refill it later. Plus, keeps it nice and cold. That's the other thing too, is I like to have some good crisp cold water up on the mountain after you've been hiking. So with that, you've got drinkware. What's your most popular drinkware, do you think, that people get?
That 30 ounce bottle is very popular. Next to that is probably just our standard 20 ounce cup, which lot of uses for that, across the board. Coffee is pretty popular size for that, but that's got the same rubber touch finish. It's got a unique lid to it. It's got a twist style lid. So like your standard mouth opening on the lid, but there's a disc internally that twists shut. And that disc actually is magnetic. So for ease of cleaning, you can just pop that disc off and you can clean everything on that lid a lot easier. And that's always been our go-to size. That 20 ounce is very popular.
That's awesome.
We got a ton of colors across the board for the drinkware as well. So that 20, we're gonna be adding some more sizes as well within that throughout this next year. So look for that coming from us as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of things coming down the pipe that I'm excited about as well. But that seems like the standard, that 30 ounce and then the 20 ounce cup.
Right.
They just seem like, and they fit well in most cup holders. If it'll fit an Nalgene or anything like that, it'll fit these two cups really well. And I didn't realize it had that magnetic lid, so that's pretty sweet to keep things closed and your drinks not flying all over the place. That's awesome.
Bouncing around a side-by-side ride or something like that,
yeah.
Or on a boat. It's nice for just keeping your dash clean.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you this question that I'm sure, and I've gotten it personally, but what makes Grizzly different than other cooler companies that are out there that have similar technology? What makes Grizzly different? Why would someone go pick up a Grizzly over any of these other companies that are out there?
A lot of it just comes down to features, and spread across all the products. Like I kind of mentioned how we put all the little features like the corners and stuff in the hard side coolers just for added durability. It's stuff like that. The drain size, that's pretty unique to us as well. It's the little things like that just tie in, make a better product and more easier to use. And if it's something that makes your experience better, you're just gonna go to that product more and more. And that's what we found. Like return customers, they're adding everything that we offer to their lineup because they've had good experiences, and that's what we want at the end of the day. And briefly touched on this too with the soft sides. We just wanted to load those up with pockets. Our biggest knock on a lot of the soft sides out there, just they were built pretty durable. And the zippers were good. It's just that you end up using that thing for more than just a cooler. So we really wanted to load it up with pockets so that you could take everything and more that you need for a day on the beach, if you're fishing, all that stuff I mentioned, turkey hunting, and just taking everything with me in that cooler versus other bags. So multiple purpose driven stuff is what we were after on a lot of our products, and just doing it the right way.
No, that's awesome. I love that, because it really does come down to basically how are you going to use it and the little features that make you stand out compared to other companies that are out there, because it's a saturated market with coolers, and you're going to find so many different ones. They all look, for the most part, similar. They have similar technology. And so just when I talk to people about Grizzly, and why I chose to partner up with you guys and you guys partner up with me, is just you are very focused on the hunter and the fisherman, the outdoorsman. You want to make sure you have a durable product. I think the product looks really good. I love the color schemes that you guys have available. You even have, I don't think we mentioned, you've got like blues and all of these other colors that might stand out to the different person based on your personal needs or wants. And so you guys are just continuously expanding and making things even better for the outdoorsmen and women out there that need these, whether it be cold drinks in the bottles and cups, your hot chocolate or coffee in the morning when you're heading out to the stand, all the way to this air transfer system that you guys built for your blinds. And so all of those things are pretty sweet. And then the interactions that I've had with you guys personally in the backside of things with the company, you guys stand behind your product, you guys believe in your product, and you guys also believe in the idea of the outdoorsmen and women getting out there and enjoying the outdoors however it is that they choose, whether that be hunting, fishing, running, working out, camping, whatever. You guys want people to just get outside and enjoy the outdoors more, whatever it is that they've got going on. So, what, I guess, for you personally, what has kept you with Grizzly for the 12 years that you've been there?
It's really just been the brand direction. When I started, I had never in my wildest imagined thought we'd be into the hunting as much as we are now with the blinds and the water trough and all the accessories that go along with that. I've been a bow hunter forever. Like that's where my head's at usually. So, that type of avenue, and all the different things that we can come bring to market, has just kept it rolling, and I'm thankful to be a part of it and just help driving that ship. And it's been awesome just to see where the innovation has been and where we can add new products. And like I say, that always on the hunt tagline, I mean, that's top bottom here. I mean, we really do believe that, from a standpoint of bringing products to the market that will keep people in the field, and maybe introduce new people to hunting, fishing, whatever you're doing, taking kids out. That's another big thing where we try to get as many youth programs that we can get, coolers or drinkware, whatever it is, just to help drive that. And then from our standpoint, we're always on the hunt for that next product that's gonna, help that as well. So it's kind of twofold scenario there. But yeah, it's been great, and to help get our product line where it is at now has been awesome. And we're not slowing down. I think we launched 60 plus SKUs last year, and we're looking at another 60 for the next 2 years. So I mean, we are not slowing down by any means. So we're gonna keep the pedal down.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I love hearing that, and that you guys are going all in on the hunter and again, the outdoorsman. You want to encourage people to get out there as much as possible. What would be, if there is one or two things that you would say people should look for here in the next coming months, that you're excited most about? Is there anything that you can talk about that you should have? And this will probably launch, I don't know, I have to see, probably in October. So if there's anything between now and October that people should be looking for, or coming up towards the end of the year that you're able to talk about, or kind of give some teasers, what would people be looking for?
We'll have a couple new things on the drinkware side, being that this is going to be in October. We've got some, we're going to add white to our lineup. So that's going to be an added color across the board. We've had a lot of requests for that. So we're bringing that in overall. And then we've got a very cool rubber roll-up water bottle. So it's collapsible. The really nice thing about that is you can pack it. Elk hunting, it's like a bladder system almost, but it's, again, like you said, you can monitor your water consumption a little bit better with that. And then it's quiet. I don't know how many times kids in the blind and whatnot dropping stuff and they're rolling around. This bottle's very, very quiet for that type of use. So that's going to be dropping this fall as well.
That's awesome.
We've got a few other accessories for the blind that's going to be in 2025, and then some added coolers that we're going to launch in 2025. So
Sweet.
That'll all be coming. But that rubber water bottle is going to hit probably sometime in September.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then right now, like, big thing is water, like that water trough that I referenced. That thing doubles as a feed or watering hole, and you can leave it on the ground or bury it if you like. It's 80 gallons. I've got two of them. I just did one this weekend. I actually put a new water hole in right next to one of the blinds in a food plot. So water's a big deal when it's dry. And then if you're in a state that you can't supplemental feed or bait of any kind, water can be just as much of a draw as putting out a salt block or corn where you can't bait. So
yeah,
that's been a big item in the last couple months for us here as we get closer to fall.
So 80-gallon water hole, or I guess an 80-gallon trough. What does that weigh roughly?
It's right at 60 pounds empty.
Okay. It's not
It's
bad.
a true double-walled rotomolded product, just like our coolers. So it's very durable from that standpoint. If you are burying it, and then if you are burying it, then with the ground fluctuating, at least where we're at, you get a lot of thawing and freezing as over the course of the season. So that aids in that trough's durability over the life of the product. It does have a drain in it as well. If you're using it for feed, a lot of people will just take that drain plug out so that if it does rain in there, it will get rid of some of that moisture, so you're not wrecking a whole bunch of feed if it's just sitting in water. So, and then like Iowa, you can bait in the off season. You can supplemental feed in the off season. You just can't hunt over it. So that in the states like that, you can remove that then before the season, and all of your supplemental feed or mineral is gone at that point. You don't have any residuals left on the ground. I'm from Minnesota, so I can't do that at all. And part of Minnesota where I'm at, so I primarily use them for water, but it does serve a dual purpose that way too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. And yeah, definitely the idea of the collapsible water bottles. Now, you mentioned possibly what would the sizes be? Is it going to be able to replace a bladder, like if people use it as storage, or what's the bigger one that might be coming up?
Right now we're going to launch a 64 ounce.
Okay.
So it's going to be fairly similar in design of the stainless version of the 64 ounce with that handle on the side, and then a spout for drinking. It's just going to be a rubberized version of that you can roll up and collapse.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, so I mean that's half a gallon of water right there that you can pack in your backpack, and then you'll have smaller ones, I imagine, as well, to go along with that 64.
Yeah, from the popularity that we've already received on some of the samples that we've gotten, people have really liked it. So I think that line will grow as we go here.
Yeah, 100%. That's awesome. Well, cool. I guess last little bit here, you mentioned you're a bow hunter. What's your hunt that you're looking forward to the most this upcoming year?
I've got a couple good tags here this year that I'm pretty excited about. My home farm tag would be a Minnesota tag. I try to fill every year. I've got, just like I say, I was working on food plots all week, try to get that done. But got a couple good deer coming up through that are going to be 4 and 5 this year that I'll be watching. And then I'm going to be in Wyoming sometime in November for a rifle hunt on whitetails for a week. So we'll see. I've never hunted Wyoming before, so that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then I also drew Kansas this year. So I'm going to be down in Kansas at some point. I'm hoping around Thanksgiving type time frame. And that'll be a bow hunt, all public land. So I'll be running around with a saddle and then some stands that I'll be just poking around public and see what I can find there. But I got to be honest, like the one I'm most excited for, my 10-year-old finally gets to go this year. So that's the tag I'm really got some pressure on me for. And the Minnesota youth season starts in late October. And then we have a couple shotgun seasons in November that if he doesn't shoot one in October, we can roll over to those two. So hopefully he can get it done and I can find a buck for him there. But we're excited for it. He's jacked and we're shooting the muzzleloader and getting sighted in, and he finally gets to go. So that's the tag I'm most focused on at this point. So it'll be fun. We'll have many blind sits hopefully with him and try to shoot something out of one of our blinds.
Yeah, that's exciting. Getting your kids into it when they show interest, when they're excited about it. You're not forcing them to do, any of the things that you're wanting to do, but they genuinely want to learn and to improve and to have their own success. That's a lot of fun. So you said he's doing it with a muzzleloader. What are his goals? Is he going to be like, oh man, I'm going to shoot the biggest buck out here, Dad? Or is he like, man, anything that's got horns, I'm shooting?
He goes back and forth. He doesn't seem too picky, and then when he sees a couple of the larger bucks that we've got on trail camera, he's like, "Oh, maybe I'll wait for that one." He just kind of shifts around, and he even said this morning he just kind of threw his hands up in the air. He goes, "I'm getting way too ahead of myself here," So he's pretty grounded in that regard. I just hope I can get him on something here, and whatever it is, we don't really put a limit on the kids, so they can shoot whatever they want. From that regard. So he'll be pretty pumped with anything. He's got a few turkeys under his belt, so it's not completely like his first hunt.
Right.
He's done quite a few turkey hunts, but Minnesota, you got to wait till they're 10 to be able to go deer hunting for the first time. So he's pumped. It'll be an interesting fall.
That's awesome, and that's really exciting. I've got my son going out this fall as well. Nice. Out here in Utah, they've got to wait a little bit longer than I think some of the eastern and Midwest states. I know Texas, I think you can start at like 8 or something like that, which I'm like, wow, that's really young. But either way, that's awesome that he can start at 10. And obviously, you've been doing this for a while, and you're setting up the food plots and everything for success. So definitely wish you guys the most success out there, and I can understand that being your most exciting hunt this year. That's why I didn't put it in for anything out of state, because I was like, when my son draws, that's what I'm focused on, and we're just gonna focus on that this year. So that's really awesome. I guess, is there anything else that we haven't touched on, or anything that you'd like to share from a Grizzly standpoint or from your standpoint, as far as the company goes?
Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job on the product line. I would just say, if you're not watching us on social media, we're pretty heavy on Instagram and Facebook. Give us a follow there. We always drop a lot of content on those two platforms, as well as new product type stuff. Launches will be on there, and then just success from the field. Guys like you, or we post a lot of that stuff too. So if you're into hunting content and stuff through the fall, check us out there, and then grizzlycoolers.com as well if you want to take a deeper dive on some of the products. But that'd be where I'd go. Definitely check out the socials for us for the new products coming down the line.
Sweet. Well, definitely. And I appreciate that. We're going to end on this. I want to know your favorite hunting story up to this point, whether it's a success or a failure. I don't really care either way. But your favorite hunting story up to this point in your life.
Oh, I gotta say, it's going to go back to the kids. My two boys, this past spring, we just had I didn't shoot anything, but they did, and we had a really good spring. My 7-year-old got his first turkey, and then my 10-year-old got his 6th tom he's shot since he started going when he was 6. So they've just been on a tear, and getting the youngest one on the board this year was just awesome. We had I'll start with the older one because he got to go first. But opening night, we went out. Our season starts middle of April in Minnesota. It started on a Wednesday, and got him out in a blind that I had preset, and he helped me with that. And we put the decoys out, and we weren't there probably an hour. And I had a tom come in from about 100 yards out and just do what they're supposed to do. He sat out there at 60 yards and strutted back and forth, and then came right into the decoys, and he let him have it, and he was done. So that one was short and sweet. Didn't really have to work for it a whole lot, but he was pumped to put another notch on the belt, and then it was all about younger brother, So when he finally got to go, we worked a little bit harder for his, and put in a couple evening sits, and we're close, had a couple at 80, and just they wouldn't commit and stuff like that, turkey hunting. But finally one morning he got to get out for his first morning hunt, and we were actually sitting in a grizzly blind. And I had a nice shooting rest set up for him, and he's shooting that 410 single shot that Savage makes with the red dot on it, and the TSS loads, like, you can't beat those things. In my opinion. We had one come out. It was a Jake, but he almost had a full fan. So it was one of those older Jakes in the flock, and we had him come out solo, and he stood out there about 100 yards, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, you going to shoot this Jake if he comes in?" And he looked at me and said, "Absolutely." So a couple calls at him, and he marched straight into 16 yards, and he was able to fill his tag that morning. But so we were done in about 5 days total with both kids. So that was that was a fun spring as far as they were concerned, and got got the young one on the board, so now he's hooked.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's awesome. That's awesome. How much of you mentioned them helping you set up blinds and stuff like that. So sounds like they're pretty involved as much as they can be. Do you have them help you process the meat afterwards as well?
yeah, they do all that. As a family, we do a lot of meat processing, whether it be pork, beef, all that stuff. We're on a farm, so we do a lot of that stuff ourselves anyway. So they're used to it. But yeah, all the turkeys they helped with. We obviously have turkey fries and stuff like that, all the time, and they get to take part in cooking it, and they're helping clean fish and all that stuff. So it's just part of life. That's what they get to do, and they're, like I say, start to finish, they were helping me with all the food plots and trail cameras, and they're a big part of it. So it's not just, oh, Dad's going to take me out, we're going to shoot something. They kind of get the full process, start to finish, on what you got to do if you're going to try to be successful. And even if you do all the stuff on the backside, it still might not work out.
Yeah,
so as long as they see a lot of that going forward, they know what they gotta work for. So
Exactly.
yeah.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. It's awesome to get the kids involved. And again, it doesn't sound like you're pushing them, which is a great thing. But parents out there listening, definitely take some tips from this. Just get the kids involved in as much of the process as you can, without trying to make them feel everyone has it. Maybe you feel dumb or something like that with something new that you're doing. Make sure you don't let your kids feel that way, and have them, teach them through the whole process. Let them have their success, and go through the whole experience of, from setting up the blinds and food plots or whatever it is that your hunt is, all the way through the processing of the meat, so they can understand that it's not just food that shows up on their table, or Dad just taking me out this morning. They get to be a part of it. So with that, I appreciate it, Isaac. I appreciate your time and hopping on here. It's been fun this year with Grizzly, and for people out there listening, definitely go check out all the links I'll leave down below where you can find Grizzly coolers on social media. They're posting a lot of great content there, new releases, etc. But also, if you're looking to grab a Grizzly cooler of any kind or any of their products, you can use code RedBeard10 and save some money as well on your next purchase, whatever it may be. And great customer service, great products. Again, TSA beat the crap out of it and it survived. So we'll just go with that. We'll leave that as they did the gear testing for me. Yeah, exactly. They did the gear testing for me. So with that, thanks again, Isaac. Appreciate it. Guys out there listening, have a fantastic rest of your day. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it. Hope you enjoyed that episode with Isaac. He's just a great individual. He loves his family, loves his job, loves hunting, getting outdoors, and everything in between. So go and support Grizzly if you're in the market for a new cooler. The link is down below to save some money on your next drinkware, on your next cooler, on your next deer blind, maybe water trough, whatever it may be. Go check out Grizzly down below. They make amazing products, and they're who I trust with my meat from game meat, transporting it, all of the above. They're great people, so go check them out. Also, guys, if you're in the market for any gear that I've ever talked about in the past, check out the links down below. You're supporting me, you're supporting the partners, and you're getting the best gear that I trust at the best price possible. All of that to be said, go check it out down below. And last but not least, if you're not in the market for any gear items, that's fine. That's great. No worries. Please support by leaving a review on Apple or Spotify and subscribing to the YouTube channel, leaving a like and a comment on any video that you watch. I'd love to see those comments, questions, concerns, anything like that. Maybe something that you want to see next, another guest, gear item, etc. Let me know. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Good luck on your tags that you have the rest of the season. And if you've already had success, congratulations on that. Thanks so much, guys. And of course, get out, live your life, and love it.